I'd like to say what a pleasure it is to have an opportunity to be meeting once here again in Inglewood this year. This is a real highlight of the calendar year for our council. We're delighted that those of you who are in the visitors area were able to join us today. And we're going to start off by doing roll calls. I'm going to call out districts, and I'll ask the councilors to respond with their names. District 1.
Bruce Perry.
2.
John McDonald.
District 3.
Wayne Powell.
District 4.
Bert McNeil.
District 5.
Gregory Hemming.
District 6.
Alec Morrison.
District 7 is myself, Timothy Habinski. District 8.
Michael Gutt.
District 9.
Wendy Sheridan.
District 10.
Martha Roberts.
And District 11.
Diana Blanc.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, you have the agenda before you. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda? Moved by Councillor LeBlanc, seconded by Councillor Hemming. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you. You also have before you sets of minutes from 3 different meetings. We'll start off with the minutes for our special session on January the 14th. Move the approval by Councillor Fowler and seconded by Councillor McNeil. Have you noticed any errors or omissions in those minutes? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Next, we have our minutes for the regular session from January 21st, 2020. Can I have a motion to approve those minutes? Moved by Councillor McDonald and seconded by Councillor Sheridan. Any errors or omissions in those minutes? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you. And finally, minutes from our special session from January 28th of 2020. Can I have a motion to approve those minutes? Moved by the Deputy Warden and seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. Any errors or omissions there? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Thanks very much. You'll see today that we have the meeting in terms of its structure is a little bit unusual. We of course both have a ceremonial portion of the meeting which is set to begin at 11 o'clock. We also do have a brief public hearing which will be taking place immediately prior, right at 11 on the nose. And so what we're doing now is hopping around in our agenda and going past that down to our annual reports. So start off with 5A, the Annapolis Basin Conference Center report, which you'll find in your agenda package.
Beth Earl will be here but late.
Oh, so should we move
will be
that?
here.
Should we move that one down in that
Yeah.
case? All right. That comes with the ceremonial part of 11 o'clock. Thank you, Councillor. Let's go on in that case. So we're going to come back to the Annapolis Basin Conference Center when there's somebody here to speak for it.
Probably a lot of them are expecting to be here at 11. Yeah.
Shall we skip past all of those in that case? Go right to Councillor's comments then.
Oh, there's some.
Okay. Let's do that because I don't want to have to sort of
Yeah.
go back and keep track of each one. Let's begin with our councillors' comments in that case. Perhaps we'll begin over on this side with Councillor Gunn.
It's been a busy month. I did make Bear River breakfast this month. I didn't make up a formal sheet, but it's been a very busy month around Annapolis County for me in District 8. We're very excited about a few ventures there. The land acquisition is one thing and another. Probably can't talk about that too much. But I'm busy taking another course, as you all know, so I've been busy with that. Thank you.
Councillor Hemming?
Thank you. As I was driving here, I was thinking about the fact that this is roughly my 400th council meeting, committee, the whole meeting. And a couple things come to mind. I always appreciate the amount of work that the staff has to do to prepare all things, so we have at least a sense of what we're talking about. And of all those 400 meetings, there was 8 that stick to my mind, and that's all the ones that are held here. And I think about that because this is what a council meeting ought to look like and ought to feel like. And my passion now for I suppose the rest of my life is really trying to wrap my mind around climate change and the significant impact it's going to have on communities. And it dawns on me that it's not just young people that have to figure it out. It's all of us. Everyone in this room has to figure this out. And I always keep thinking, what's the point of beginning? Where do we start? I don't have the answer, but I think it'll come from meetings like this. So it's always a pleasure to be here, and I thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Sheridan.
I also want to thank you for the invitation here as well. I always appreciate coming down and enjoy it very much. I've got a couple things. One very important anniversary coming up in my community. It's a 50th anniversary for the Nicktoff Fireettes. This is a group that was founded back in 1970. It began with 10 wives of the firefighters in the Nicktoff Fire Department. And they formed what was called the Nicktoff Fireettes group to help out with fires, for preparing lunches for the firefighters if they were out on serious fire calls. And it became much more. Right now they're into even doing it as a comfort station. They help out with funeral services and receptions and fundraisers, showers. And two of the original founders are still active members of this group 50 years later. So just want to point out how valuable volunteers are in our community, and this group is the heart of our community in Nicktoff. So I want to thank all the volunteers in the whole county, because without the volunteers, we wouldn't have these communities thriving as they do. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Councillor McNeil.
I too attended Bear River. I got there. I was first there. Just making that cool. Not a lot happened in my area other than Saturday night I went to a potluck bake sale at the Round Hill Hall. And that morning I had said to my wife, I got to go to bed. And she said, why? I said, because I haven't got money and I got to go to that bake sale. So the first thing I bid on there were some heart-shaped cookies. But I was watching this young fella and he was bidding, and somebody kept bidding him up and bidding him up. Anyway, he got to about $10 and he stopped bidding. So the guy was bidding him up. I thought, okay, here we go. So I said $15. God, okay. He said 16. I said 20. And he stopped bidding, so I gave him cookies to the young fella. Oh, very good. The next one I got looking at was a really, really nice cake. So I was watching a lady across from me who was bidding on it. I got up to $15, and I could see her going. And I said, okay. So I jumped in. I said, $20. Well, next thing I know, this fellow over in the corner saying 22. I said, 25. By the time it ended up, I was 50. I paid $50 for a cake. And I gave that to the lady.
Yay!
My wife said, what to buy? I said, well, I bought some cookies and a cake, but I gave them away. How much money did you spend? I said, oh, not much, dear. Anyway, it was an enjoyable evening, and they raised money for that hall, which is very important to those people in that area, and it was a lot of fun.
That's terrific. Thank you so much. Councillor Crowder.
It's been fairly quiet in my district as well. I would like to congratulate Greenleaf Enterprises. It's a local florist shop in Wilmot. It's an intersection of, well, one part of it is, if I say the Dodge Road, everyone will know, but Dodge Road or Station Road with Highway number 1. They were recently voted the best florist shop in the valley by the Valley Harvester readership, and it's well deserved. They're coming up, I think it's in August, it's going to be their 20th anniversary since they've been there. And I would encourage anyone in need of flowers, it's a great spot to go. You'll get a wonderful product and wonderful service. So just throw that out, that they're well deserving of it.
Terrific. Thank you, Councillor Crowder. Deputy Warden.
I had the pleasure of giving out our 30-year pins at the Kingston Fire Department along with Councillor LeBlanc and Councillor Prout. It was a very well-organized event, and actually there was a gentleman there that had 50 years in the fire services. And Saturday afternoon,
I forgot.
I attended the graduation of level 1 firefighters in Bridgetown with Councillor McNeil. There was 22 graduated from the class. Yeah, it was tremendous for all the dedication that they have to each county, and it was well attended, and very proud that they took the dedication and commitment to go through a course that is as extreme as that. And
That was the largest one.
yeah, that they've had.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And Here a few weeks ago, we lost a pillar in our community. He was a great volunteer, and he will surely be missed. And I would send out our condolences to his family, and that would be Keith Vino.
Keith Vino. Thank you, Deputy Warden. Councillor Fowler.
As council in the area, I'd like to thank the community of Inglewood for inviting us to here for our February session, and we always enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Councillor McDonald.
On top of my, I have it written down here. On top of my usual duties within the municipality, I attended the homes of residents answering their questions. I also attended a fundraising meeting at the Port George Rec Center as a volunteer to raise funds for a new generator and the installation as such. And of course, we come here every February, and I can't. And it's a thick of basketball season, so I got to toss some stuff in here. I attended the 38th Cole Bowl Classic Senior Boys Basketball Tournament in New Waterford, Cape Breton Island for 8 nights in February with the Middleton Regional High School boys basketball team as a coach. Also playing were 9 other teams from Alberta, Ontario, PEI, and Nova Scotia. We toured many local sites. We were treated as celebrities. We ate all we wanted, slept half as much as we needed, played a couple of games that were decided in the last few minutes, and even got a W versus a team from Quebec City. A long week that I will remember and cherish forever. Now this, you don't need to record this, Carolyn, but at 3 o'clock, I really need to bust out of here if democracy can let me. We have our final league game today in Kings County against North Kings at 5:30 p.m. tip-off. The winner of that game hosts regionals, and regionals for us is Western Nova Scotia, and I would, along with Coach Bauer sitting at the back of the room, would really like to host that in our county as opposed to Kings County. It is an economic driver, and I'll quit talking so I can get out of here by 3.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Councillor. Councillor Liddell.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for inviting us to Inglewood again this year. It is a pleasure to be here. It's always good people, good atmosphere, and exceptional food. And that's said by all the men around this table as well. They all go for seconds today. There you go. One thing that happened in my district, and it's happening across the whole county, is that the recreational group has picked out certain places and they go and do winter activities. And in my district, I have Old Mill Estates, and they came to my district, and there was a few people there. There wasn't a whole bunch, but there were children, and there was middle-aged people, and there was a lady from Granville Ferry, and there was a different array of people, and people coming in and out. And they're quite prepared. They're 2 well-rounded, very athletic people that are doing the job in the cold. So, and they were there for 2-3 hours, and they go around with the hiking, and they have all the equipment needed, and they have the new, I don't know, they have a specific name, but it's that neat little sled, I call it, and you can sit the children on it, or anybody that has any difficulties walking or is disabled, and they can go around with the child, adult, whichever, and go around the trail. And it's quite neat because Nadine sat in it, and I pushed her along to see how it was, and it was phenomenal. So, I commend the ladies for being there and having a great time and helping the people that were there. The second thing is I did as well attend the fire department, the Kingston Fire Department banquet on Saturday evening, and it always astounds me to see how many people have so many years of service. And it starts from 5 to 10 to 15, and it goes on. At 25 years of service, everybody receives a watch. So as I'm sitting there with the group, and I had a lady from the department, the fire department, sitting beside me, and when they announced the 50-year target, I said, well, he must be getting a full-on gold watch, that you would think he would. Anyway, the process went through, and he had his certificate and whatever, and he was called again because I believe he is one of 20. Is that basically what you remember? One of 20 in Canada that hit the 50-year mark. One. And he was awarded gold medals for his lapel, or I don't know, for his years of service. It was phenomenal to see, and they are always willing to jump in the fire where everybody else runs out and away. So I congratulate every fire department to volunteer as they do, because volunteering is, as we know, what we certainly have in great numbers in our county, and we will be celebrating those volunteers shortly in the month of April, and I have to say thank you to everyone in the county for volunteering as well. And that's all I have.
Terrific.
Thank you.
Councillor Morrison.
Thank you. For those who follow such matters, you will notice that today I'm wearing the tie of the Black Watch, the Royal Highland Regiment of Canada. And I'm doing that for two reasons. One is to pay tribute to Hazel Johnson, a valued member of this community who is now in her 101st year of life and who we hope will be here later today. She and her husband Sam and I served in the Black Watch in Gagetown in the early 1960s. And also, this tie to honor and commemorate the life and memory of Richard Mailman, whose funeral service was held yesterday and with whom I also served at Camp Gagetown in New Brunswick. And the lucky person is, actually, there are many persons and 2 District 6 organizations involved, and luck had nothing to do with it. By the way of diligence, determination, and the judicious use of experience and expertise, accompanied by imaginative, innovative thinking, all contained in an excellent application showing a firm grasp of current situations and future demands, the Upper Clements Hall and the Cornwallis Park Community Association have each received substantive and substantial grants from the Government of Canada New Horizons for Seniors program. Now, Sister Alice Marie, my grade 11 teacher, would hold that up as a shining example of a run-on sentence. But congratulations to all. Basin View Center continues to thrive as a location for various communities. In addition to the sittings and chattings of the coffee club, many other small groups and individuals put the main lobby tables to good use. Of an afternoon a short while ago, I happened on 2 folks playing crib. After short but complete biographical introductions, I inquired as to their places of abode. One was from Bridgetown, the other from Lakeele. They heard about Basin View Center, came to shop at the grocery store, and stayed to have a good crib game. Now they are a regular presence. On Friday, the 14th of February, Elizabeth and I attended a Celtic tea hosted by the Annapolis Community Health Center. Not only was the venue completely filled with eager patrons, not only was there coffee, tea, and various edibles of the tasty and delicious varieties, there was a Celtic music ensemble of the most enjoyable assemblage. As chair of the Annapolis County Physician Recruitment and Retention Committee, I initially tried hard not to conduct a bit of business, but I managed to overcome that difficulty with ease. The following day, we were at an excellent meeting called by the Cornwallis Park Community Association and attended by individuals from District 6 and from around the county to discuss various regional emergency matters. My understanding is that the meeting hosts wish to address Committee of the Whole in March. Saturday and Sunday evenings, I was the master of ceremonies for the completely sold-out stagings of the Clementsport Legion second annual dinner theater. 2 dates this year due to demand generated
by last year's event. Dr. Simon Bonington and his Annapolis Thespian Group provided high-caliber entertainment of the whodunit variety. Dates have been set for the 2021 performances and will be released soon. The roundtable thus far began with 2 counselors indicating that they had attended the Bear River Breakfast. I did not attend the Bear River Breakfast, but I did attend the annual monthly breakfast at Cornwallis Park, and the next one is the second Saturday of March. See you there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor Morrison. Terrific. Well, let's move on in that case to new business in our agendas. If you go to page 80 of your agenda, we have a request. We have a request for decision with reference to the upcoming election. Perhaps our Deputy Ward could review.
That municipal council delegate its powers of appointment to the chief administrative officer for the purpose of appointing a returning officer and an assistant returning officer.
Could I have a seconder for the motion? Seconded by Councillor Sheridan. Discussion on the motion. All in favor, signify by...
Can I just make a comment?
Please do.
That's because your returning officer has to be in place by March 15th, and we won't have council won't have a chance to meet before that. We have a competition out for it right now. You have the authority to delegate.
Any further discussion or comments? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Thanks very much. And next, we have a request for certificate for the Nicktoff Fireettes.
And that would be me.
Councillor Sheridan, yes, folks.
As I spoke earlier with the 50th anniversary, Carolyn is doing certificates up for the individuals. However, the policy states that I have to get permission from council to do one for the entire group. So I would like to make a motion that I could have a certificate made up for the Fireettes for their 50th anniversary with council's permission.
Second that.
So that's moved by Councillor Sheridan and seconded by Councillor McDonald.
I have a question. Fireettes, is the E in X capital?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
That's the first E. Not the second.
Thank you.
Any further discussion, folks? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you very much. Let's go on to our recommendations from the Committee of the Whole. Deputy Ward.
Physician Recruitment and Retention Committee update number 1. In accordance with the recommendation of Committee of the Whole, I move that Physician Recruitment and Retention Committee update number 1 be adopted.
Seconded by Councillor Hemming. Discussion on the motion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you.
Physician Recruitment and Retention Committee mandate. I move in accordance with the recommendation of Committee of the Whole that the following physician recruitment and retention mandate be adopted to assist as appropriate in all aspects of recruiting and retention of medical personnel, physicians, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, and like medical professionals.
Seconded by Councillor Fowler. Any discussion on the motion?
I have a question. Just a second. Would council entertain an amendment to that motion to update the AM 1.3.5 committees of council policy?
Yes.
Both mover and seconder are agreeing to the amendments. That's fine.
Okay.
All right. Anything further? All in favor of the motion as amended, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you.
Nova Scotia Nunavut Command Royal Canadian Legion's 16th Annual Veterans Service Recognition Book. Pursuant to the recommendation of Committee of the Whole, I move that Municipal Council purchase a full-color business card size ad in the Nova Scotia Nunavut Command Royal Canadian Legion's 16th Annual Veterans Service Recognition Book at a cost of $226.09 plus HST.
Seconded for the motion. Seconded by Councillor McNeil. Discussion on the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you.
AM-1.2.5 Declaration of Proclamation Policy Amend. I move pursuant to 7 days' notice having been given that Committee of the Whole that Municipal Council amend AM-1.3.6 Advisory Committees and Boards Policy by adding Section 8. Effective January 1st, 2020, the citizen member appointed by the Minister of Justice shall receive the same honorarium and reimbursement of expenses as other citizen members that are appointed by municipal council.
Seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. Discussion on the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried.
AM-1.4.12 Tax Exemption and Reduction Policy. In accordance with 7 days' notice having been given at Committee of the Whole, I move that Municipal Council amend AM-1.4.12 Tax Exemption and Reduction Policy by adding in District 10, Carlton Road Industries Association, and by making the following name changes. In District 7, Paradise Historical Society instead of Paradise Women's Institute. And in District 9, Nicktaw Baptist Church instead of United Nicktaw Baptist Church.
Seconded for the motion. Seconded by Councillor Sherry. Discussion on the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried.
Bridgetown 2019 LUB 003 Shale LUB zoning map amendment application, first reading. I move in accordance with the recommendation of Committee of the Whole and in full consideration of the related goals, objectives, and policies of the Bridgetown Municipal Planning Strategy, that Municipal Council give first reading of their intent to amend the Bridgetown Land Use Bylaw zoning map to rezone that portion of the Steve and Carrie Shale property, PID number 05150610, commencing 50 feet south of the existing residential dwelling, 98 Granville Street, and running to the Conservation 02 zone from the residential light density R1 to the institutional 11 to permit the redevelopment of that portion of property as a women's mental health and alcohol treatment center, and to hold a statutory public hearing on Tuesday, March 17, 2020 at 11 a.m. in the council chambers of Annapolis Municipal Building to discuss Municipal Council's intention to adopt the amendment to the Bridgetown Land Use Bylaw.
Seconder for the motion. Seconded by Councillor Henning, pardon me. Discussion on the motion. Councillor Morrison.
Thank you. I would like to point out, for the benefit of members of local community who are here today and who are probably marveling at our ability to comprehend this paragraph that has just been read. Let me assure you that this subject was discussed extensively at Committee of the Whole. It was discussed extensively at a meeting of the Planning Advisory Committee, and as the motion said, will be discussed extensively again at March 17th meeting before a decision is taken. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Morrison. Further discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Motion is carried.
2020-2021 sewer charge. Pursuant to the recommendation of Committee of the Whole, I move that Municipal Council authorize an increase to the 2020 to 2021 sewer charge by 2.3% cost of living. The annual charge would increase from $539.22 from 2019-2020 to $551.44, an increase of $12.22 for the year.
Seconder for the motion. Seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. Discussion on the motion. All in favor? Councillor Morrison.
Thank you. This is a subject in which a number of councillors concern themselves each year. Councillor Sheridan being one. And last year we had a rather large charge for sewer services, and we indicated in good faith to the ratepayers, not the taxpayers, to the ratepayers, that this year would be better. I'm very happy to see that the increase this year is $12.22 for the total year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Nelson. Councilor Sherry.
I just want to respond to that as well. Like, I have had concerns, and along with Councilor Morrison, I agree that it's to this point where it's acceptable as opposed to the last few years. I realize the increase has to happen, but in the past it was large, and I understand why we did go over that many times. So I do appreciate the fact that it is only going to go up $12.22 this year.
Thank you very much. Anything further, folks? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you.
Request for assistance, purchase of masks for China. I move pursuant to the recommendation of Committee of the Whole that Municipal Council authorize in response to a plea from our sister city in China, a $1,000 purchase of masks as a gift and up to $5,000 purchase of masks with costs to be reimbursed.
Seconded by Councilor Fowler. Discussion of the motion. Councilor Henry.
I support this motion, and my feelings are that it's best to see if we can isolate this illness in China as opposed to other places, and that's a direct way to do it, and so I feel good about doing it. But I can't close my mind to the reality that, for example, the Center for Disease Control in the United States saying a couple days ago that the way this disease is morphing, that it'll soon be spread within communities in the United States and probably in Canada too. So there's a readiness piece that we have to think about. We have about 20,000 residents in this county. We're going to need medical supplies for them as well. So this is an ongoing crisis, and this is the first step to isolate it there, but it's probably not the last time the public will hear about this issue.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Gunn.
Thank you very much. You know, this show some support. I'm kind of with this motion. I don't really understand what, in the big picture of things, what $1,000 is going to do. But I'm willing to vote along to support our sister city. But I really believe what we have to look at, and Department of Health or public health officials have to look at, we cannot, if there's going to be some sort of pandemic across this planet, we can't be dependent on supplies of masks. I would look that they look further than that and let people know what's around their house, and they get ready to use what they have available to them. One more time, I'm a big believer that, you know, cleanliness is next to godliness when it comes to handling disease. So that's what I would think that we would do, is encourage people to be more cognizant of their connections with people and their exchanges, rather than sending $1,000 worth of masks. But anyway, I'll go on. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Further discussion? I'll throw in just a little bit on this, just because it's probably sort of an unusual item for a small municipal council to deal with. We take quite seriously the notion that we are part of a much larger community than just Annapolis County, and that we have responsibilities that extend beyond our borders, and we have responsibilities to protect our own residents that may require action outside of our borders. What we're capable of doing, of course, is a small thing. It's a gesture of support and solidarity for a city that we already have connections with in China. What we were able ultimately to do was to acquire just under 4,000 masks. They were retrieved at the end of last week, and I believe have already been shipped to China right now. So 4,000 masks in the grand scheme of things doesn't sound like a lot, but it makes me think a little bit of the apocryphal story of the man walking on the beach with seeing all the starfish washed up on the shore and starting to throw them one at a time back into the ocean. His friends saying, why would you bother? You can't possibly save all those starfish. And he said, yeah, but I can make a difference to that one, as he throws it back in. And if there's one child in a school in China, in the city of Sushan, who doesn't become ill because of the action of this municipality, I would view that as a triumph, something we can be very proud of. We are members of a global community, and we take pride in our role in that respect. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay, record it, please.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Deputy Warden.
King's Transit Saturday Road complaint. In accordance with the recommendation of Committee of the Whole, I move that the Municipal Council request the Saturday bus route continue past Mountley Lodge as far as the Willowvale apartments as it does from Monday to Friday.
Seconded by Councillor Gunn. Discussion on the motion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you.
Bridgetown criterion. I move in accordance with the recommendation of Committee of the Whole that Municipal Council grant permission for the Bridgetown criterium to take place on June 7th, 2020.
Seconded by Councillor Fowler. Discussion on the motion. Deputy Warden.
This is a bicycle race that is organized by a group that they organize it, they put it on, they do all the flagging, and it's an economic driver for the area in Bridgetown, and I'm very happy to support this motion.
Thank you very much. Further discussion, folks? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried.
Grant of easement to Nova Scotia Power. Pursuant to the recommendation of Committee of the Whole, I move that Municipal Council authorize the Warden and the Clerk to sign a grant of easement with Nova Scotia Power and Corp for PID 05140728.
Seconded for the motion. Seconded by Councillor Fowler. Discussion on the motion.
Could you clarify what this was for again?
For power poles, 2 power poles, I believe.
Sure.
Okay. Further discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Let's see, how are we for time? Why don't we continue with our correspondence? So first we have correspondence sent by, on behalf of Mr. Burrell for the NDPRD, asking to set up a meeting with Annapolis County Council. Could I have a motion to receive?
So moved.
Motion to receive by Councillor Fowler, seconded by Councillor McNeil. Discussion on the motion.
Can I just make a comment?
Yes, please do.
So when this was received, it was too late to go on a council agenda. Staff spoke with the staff at this office, and the warden said, invite them to January council, which we did, and we did not ever hear back from them. We did hear back from them a few weeks ago, and now they're asking if they can come at some time in April.
Okay. Fair enough. Mr. Gunn?
That's all. They should have the same as any other part.
Absolutely. That's right. Okay, terrific. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
So you received
Motion's
this
carried.
information? Was
We
that
received it, but we had already responded that we had already responded in the affirmative to the request, I believe.
No, we didn't, not for the April part.
I'll make a motion.
Would you like to make a motion to invite them to speak to us?
Yes, I will move that we invite Nova Scotia NDP leader Gary Burrell to April's Committee of the Whole.
Seconded by Councillor McNeil. Discussion on the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Thanks very much. Next, we have correspondence from Communities, Culture and Heritage from Minister Leo Levine, indicating that our application for funding under the Community Accessibility Program has been approved in the amount of $7,840.33. Now, I wonder if any staff person can clarify, where exactly is this particular project taking place?
Very good question.
I don't have an answer.
Steve,
Steve's not here?
Right here.
Okay. Yes.
I believe it's the Bridgetown Library.
Oh, terrific. I'm so delighted that you're here. Thank you. All right. Yes, Councillor Morrison.
I'm just wondering, from what I used to call a minor staff duties point of view, this application was submitted by a staff member. And it is his application to which the minister refers.
The library group contacted us about a month ago. Was concerned about some deficiencies in the building, so we had Public Works meet with them, go over what they could do and what we could do to help. If they're filling out an application, typically what happens is that if they're applying for money on a project that they're working on, I have the ability to delegate the authority. Many applications are submitted, and this is just one that we've received a positive response on.
Of course, because I'm the Annapolis County representative on the Annapolis Valley Library Board's Board of Trustees, and I have visited this library a couple of times and attended one of the meetings of the Friends of the Library. And I think it's a good initiative that the funds have been applied for from the province, and that lessens the amount of money the county and the municipality will need to spend on good programs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I have a motion to receive the correspondence? Moved by Councillor McNeil, seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. Discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Thanks very much. And next, we have a letter of appreciation from the Clean Annapolis River Project with reference to the Annapolis River Festival.
Motion to receive.
Moved by the Deputy Warden to receive, and seconded by Councillor Fowler. Discussion on the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you. Next, a letter from our MP, Chris D'Entremont, indicating that he would like to have an opportunity to come and speak to council as well. Could a motion to respond to this with an invitation? Councillor LeBlanc.
I move that motion.
Thank you very much. So moved by Councillor LeBlanc to respond with an invitation, seconded by Councillor McDonald. Discussion on the motion.
An invitation for when?
For
To
March.
come and speak to council in March.
Yeah.
March Committee of the Whole?
March Committee of the Whole.
You gotta remember that piano's here in this corner.
In the blind spot.
He's exactly in that blind spot. That's right. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Thanks very much. Next, Nova Scotia Protocol Officer. With reference to the Order of Canada and encouragement and a reminder to communities to nominate people for the award of the Order of Canada. We have a motion to receive the correspondence. Order of Nova Scotia. Pardon me. Moved by Councillor Fowler, seconded by Councillor Prout. Discussion on the motion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Thanks so much. And finally, a piece of correspondence we received from Smoke-Free Kings County. This is a request to have signs placed in. There's only a handful of bus shelters anywhere in the entire Kings Transit system, but we do have, I think, two.
Three.
Three?
Well, one in Middleton, one in Bridgetown, and one in
Lawrencetown. The request is to see if Annapolis County would be interested in putting up signs indicating that those bus shelters are smoke-free. Of course, they are supposed to be smoke-free, but often people who are using the shelters aren't aware of that restriction. So they've included a picture of the actual sign, but unfortunately the JPEG turned out to be extremely small, so you've got to sort of squint at it very carefully to see what it looks like. So their request is to find out whether or not we would like to participate in this program and put these signs on our bus shelters.
Are they out of bus shelters?
I have a question.
Councillor LeBlanc.
I know that the one in Bridgetown and the one in Lawrencetown, the bus shelters themselves were paid for by the Legion?
Part of them.
Lions.
Yes.
So is it for, I'm for it. However, is it for us to decide completely? Asking.
The Deputy Warden just made a comment about Lawrencetown. They bought their bus shelter.
That's what I mean.
So I think it would be appropriate to ask them.
Yes.
I think we have the ability to make decisions on the ones that we own.
Which is?
Just Bridgetown, I think.
Just Bridgetown. Is there not one?
There's one in Middleton.
Middleton.
Well, would that be the property of the town of Middleton, or is that our?
I believe that one.
We have to check. They've also involved community organizations. I think there's a service club that donated to the one in Bridgetown as well. So it'd be nice to let our partners know. I think they would support this.
I would think so.
But I think we should reach out.
Councillor Morrison.
Thank you. The letter indicates that there are two pictures that are a close-up. I can't read anything on the left-handed one, and I'm just wondering whether there's any wording in there that might indicate that someone in a bus shelter in Annapolis County is participating in a Kings County program.
Oh, I see.
I think it says welcome to this.
I think it says welcome to this smoke-free space, but I can't see the print below.
To a smoke-free place.
What's the bottom say?
I can't see it. Well, we can certainly respond and ask for a larger image so we can see exactly what it looks like.
Thank you.
For a good time, Paul. It's hard to make up.
Yes,
That's right. Okay.
I'm the shusher
What's
today.
council's intention?
Can we postpone this to?
Defer this in order to get a better image of what it is.
I think it would be best. I second that motion.
We have a motion to defer this to committee of the whole in March pending receipt of some clearer, more legible information.
So if you're deferring it, you have to defer to another council session.
Yes.
If you want to add it to a committee of the whole agenda, you can do that.
We'd like to
Okay.
Committee of the whole.
add to committee of the whole agenda instead. So moved by Councillor McNeil and seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. Discussion, Councillor Gunn.
Well, I think it's probably a good idea because some people do
Yeah.
need reminded that you get people trapped in there, you're smoking. So, yeah, I think the signs are probably a good idea. I just hope, this says Annapolis County on them and not Kings County.
All right. Okay. So the motion is to add this to the agenda for committee of the whole for March. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Thanks very much. And how are we now? We are at 10 minutes to. And we've just gone through, that's everything we have for our formal agenda other than the ceremonial part and the public meeting, which is to come at 11. Should we take a quick 10-minute recess to stretch our legs, and then we'll resume it at 11 o'clock? Thanks. So everybody, I'd like to call our meeting back to order. We're going to be proceeding now with our public hearing. If I can have your attention, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to be proceeding with our public hearing with reference to the heritage application for the Clarence Community Hall. Let's begin. In accordance with Section 15 of the Nova Scotia Heritage Property Act, before Annapolis County Municipal Council agrees to include a property into the Annapolis County Municipal Registry of Heritage Property, a public hearing is held where the registered property owner is given the opportunity to ask questions of council regarding the heritage registration. Council always also uses this time to explain what heritage registration means and to ensure that the property owner is aware of and in complete agreement with the registration of their property as a municipal heritage property. And at this point, I'm going to ask our staff person, Linda Bent, if you'd like to give us an overview of the staff report and evaluation. Yes, Linda.
So in terms of the evaluation of
If you could stand up here, then we can catch you with the camera too. Thank you.
Good morning. In terms of the evaluation of the Clarence Community Hall, or the former Clarence East School property, it rated a category 2 in the evaluation process, which is a 73 out of 100, so that it got a secondary priority. Things we take into consideration is the age of the building, architectural style, and historical association. The Heritage Advisory Committee recommended to register the entire parcel of land, which is 12,593 square feet in size. The Clarence East School is tucked in front of the North Mountain with a great view of the valley. Clarence East School is a replacement of the former Clarence East School, which was a structure that got relocated and repurposed for an apple packing building, I believe, down the road somewhere. Clarence East School, now Community Hall, also had a temperance hall on the second floor. The former school building is a great example of revival architectural style, as shown in its 1.5-story wood frame construction, steeply pitched front gable roof with the side dormers. The great thing about this building is it has sawtooth wood cladding in repeating fascia trim boards decorated with relief squares and circles and the unique windows and doors. It's also come to my attention that the community are going to be forming their own historical association, and included in that will be the Clarence United Baptist Church, which we did a municipal heritage registration back in 2014.
Terrific. Thank you so much. We're delighted to have the chair of our Heritage Advisory Committee, Ann Crossman, with us today. And you like to
stand next to the cake. Heritage registration is a legal process enabled through the Provincial Heritage Property Act, by which all of the Clarence Community Hall, Clarence East School property is deemed to be significant to Annapolis County by being identified for its historical, architectural, or cultural value. The identification process is called registration, which in itself is a legal device that offers protection against substantial alterations or demolition of a registered heritage property. Operationally then, an encumbrance, my gosh, there's a lot of legalese here. An encumbrance by way of the notice of registration is placed on the property and registered in the registry of deeds. Thus, any substantial change to the exterior of a structure, such as the addition of an entryway, siding, or new windows of a registered heritage property requires the approval of the Annapolis County Municipal Council before any work is begun. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anne. I believe that we have the trustees for the property present this morning. I was wondering if you have any questions to ask of the municipality before we go forward with this process.
I don't think so.
Thanks so much. As stated previously, the purpose of this public hearing is to ensure that you, the trustees for the Clarence Community Hall, understand the requirements of the heritage registration, specifically that any change to the exterior of the building must have municipal council's approval. Are you aware? Thank you. You are in complete agreement with the registration of the Clarence Community Hall as a municipal heritage property? Yes. Terrific. Thank you so much. I'll declare this portion of our public hearing adjourned, and now we get to move on to the celebration. We are delighted to have with us today our county choir, Peter Davies, and I wonder if you'd come forward and assist us, Peter. We'll be beginning with our proclamation of National Flag of Canada Day.
Oh yay! Oh yay! Oh yay! Whereas by royal proclamation, Lester B. T. Pearson, Prime Minister of Canada, appointed and declared upon and after the 15th day of February 1965, a red flag on the proportion of 2 by length and 1 by width, containing in its center a white square the width of the flag, bearing a single red maple leaf as the national flag of Canada. Whereas the national flag of Canada stands for the unity of a nation, and it speaks for all the citizens of Canada, regardless of their race, language, creed, or opinion. And whereas our flag is the most visible and recognizable symbol of Canada, and whereas our flag's central maple leaf, a bright red and white coloring, is well known and respected around the world, therefore, I, Timothy Habinski, Warden, do hereby declare February the 15th, 2020, to be observed and celebrated as National Flag Day of Canada in the municipality of the County of Annapolis. Proclaimed on behalf of Warden Timothy Habinski, Warden of the municipality of the County of Annapolis, Nova Scotia, on this 18th day of February in this year of grace 2020. By me, Peter Crofton Davies, official town crier, God bless a free and united Canada. Long live the Queen!
I'm going to ask you all to rise with me to sing the national anthem. You'll see that you have lyrics before you for those of you who might want to be reminded of the current wording, though if I do here in all our son's command, no one will be expelled from the room. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all our songs command, with glowing hearts we sing, we'll sing more strong than one, from fire and blood, oh Canada, we stand on your throne. God keep our land glorious and free, much. We'll be seated. I'd like to ask our prior to continue with his role in proclaiming Nova Scotia Heritage Day.
Thank you. Oh yay! Oh yay! Oh yay! Second tour. Last week looked at that too. That was the last one. You know, my old residents and others, whereas the province of Nova Scotia promotes the third Monday of February each year as Heritage Day, and has long advocated this date as a national holiday, and whereas the province of Nova Scotia has declared the third Monday in February as Nova Scotia Heritage Day, and whereas Heritage Day 2020 honors the community of Africville, a small, close-knit African Nova Scotian community located on the shores of the Bedford Basin, built by the descendants of the Black Loyalists and the Black refugees who came to Nova Scotia in the late 1700s and early 1800s. And whereas in 1960s, the community was systematically destroyed in the name of urban renewal, including the Seaview Baptist Church, which was demolished in the middle of the night in 1967. Residents were removed, and many did not receive proper compensation for their home and land. Since the formation of the Africville genealogy in 1983, former residents and descendants gather every summer on the land for an annual reunion. And whereas in 2002, Africville received National Historic Site designation, and in 2004, the United Nations declared the treatment and destruction of Africville a crime against humanity, and in 2010, Africville received an official apology from the Halifax Regional Municipality. Today, a replica of the Seaview Baptist Church stands on the land as the Africville Museum. Inside, the story of Africville and its people are kept alive with artifacts, interpretive devices, and often special guests who offer a first-hand account of life in Africville. Therefore, I, Timothy Habinski, Warden, do hereby declare that February the 17th to 2020 be observed and celebrated in Nova Scotia as Nova Scotia Heritage Day in the municipality of the County of Annapolis, honoring the community of Africville. Proclaimed on behalf of Timothy Habinski, Warden of the County of Annapolis, on this 18th day of February this year of grace 2020 in Inglewood in the County of Annapolis, Nova Scotia. By me, Peter Crofton Davis, Town Crier. God bless a free and united Canada. Long live the Queen!
Thank you so much, Peter. I'm going to prevail upon you for one more to proclaim African Heritage Month.
Thank you, ma'am. Oh yay, oh yay, oh yay. Whereas the municipality of the County of Annapolis recognizes the unique story of African Nova Scotians and how the story is interwoven throughout the past, present, and future of all Nova Scotians. And whereas the theme reminds us of the unique bond people of African descent share through faith, family, and community, and is about celebrating the long-standing legacy of faith and spirituality, acknowledging strong family ties and honoring the togetherness of African Nova Scotian community. And whereas Nova Scotia has over 50 historic African Nova Scotian communities with a long, deep, and complex history dating back well over 200 years, African Heritage Month provides us with another opportunity to celebrate our culture, legacy, achievements, and contributions of our people, past and present. And whereas this year's theme also aligns with the United Nations International Decade for People of African Descent, commonly known as DPAD. With the goal of strengthening global cooperation in support of people of African descent, as they strive for full inclusion in all aspects of society. Therefore, I, Timothy Yabinsky, warn to hereby declare the month of February 2020 as African Heritage Month in the municipality of Annapolis. Proclaimed on behalf of the Warden of the County of Annapolis on this 18th day of February in this year of grace 2020 in Inglewood in the County of Annapolis, Nova Scotia. By me, Peter Crofton Davis, Town Clerk. God bless a free and united Canada. Long live the Queen!
Thank you so much, Peter. And on behalf of Council, Peter, on behalf of Council, I just want to thank you. Your presence really adds greatly to the significance of these moments. We really appreciate your role here.
I might say so, Your Worship. It is a great honor to be here and to do this sort of proclamation. This last one's a bit long, but we got through it, and I do thank my helper here for guarding the bell.
Well, thank you so much. I wonder if I could ask all of you to rise with me. We're going to sing Lift Every Voice and Sing in recognition of African Heritage.
One verse.
And I've been reliably informed that the secret of this is picking the correct initial note, so we'll try. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Well, it's a pleasure to have a number of people from various organizations who are here today to bring greetings. We have received regrets from our Premier McNeil, and also from the Honourable Tony Ince, Minister of Africa Nova Scotia Affairs. Unfortunately, neither was available to come today, and both have sent their regrets. But we have, let's see, Dr. Geraldine Browning. Is Dr. Browning? Okay. All right. Our own Bridgetown Regional Community School Principal, Darlene Thomas. Darlene, it's a pleasure to have you here this morning. We'd like to say a couple of words.
I was expecting to be first. I'll set the tone and keep it short. Thank you for welcoming us once again. This is my 5th year here, and I have 2 students that I understand. This is Reese and Brianna. And Reese enjoys it so much. This is her 4th time, and Brianna's 1st time representing the school that she's been here before. And it doesn't take much time listening to ask them to come to such a special event. So thank you. I would this year like to just say one thing. When the new school, which is now in the 3rd year, but it will forever be the new school in Bridgetown, was looking to name the street where our school resides. The winning name was Cromwell Court, and that was to honor Edith Cromwell. And so Mrs. Marshall, our secretary, and I were trying to figure out a way that we could honor that so that we could remember that every day. And so last year, with the help of Mr. Shedd, who shared for us, we purchased
the big letters, the same as the letters that say Bridgetown Regional Community School. And on the brick just under that, we have our address, 25 Cromwell Court. So every day we walk into the building, we're remembered by you. And so every day I see it, not everyone is fortunate enough, as we are, to go to that school every day. And so not everyone even gets down to Cromwell Court. So one day, a couple of weeks ago, it was just a beautiful morning, and I was getting to school just after dark, or just before dark, I guess, just before sunrise. And I had a perfect picture opportunity. So I took a picture of the signage, Cromwell Court, just above our school. And I brought it to, you can keep it here. It was my camera, and I chopped it up, not thinking of any kind of a frame size. But if you would like to buy a frame, then you're certainly welcome to see these. I just brought them so that you can see what we're doing at our school.
Terrific.
Lots of other good things, but this is what we're most proud of right here.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Terrific. All right. I'd like to ask if the principal of the Annapolis West Education Center, Sue Ann Cooper, would like to say a couple of words. Hello.
Thank you, Missy, and everyone for having us. I didn't bring any photos on my pyramid. I did bring some students, so I'd like you to meet. So this is Emma Giannetti and Emma Rice, our student council presidents, senior student council presidents. I'm sending her regrets, a student named Savannah Hudson, who was going to join us today as well, but was unable. On behalf of Annapolis West, I'm very pleased to bring greetings. We're proud to celebrate Annapolis County's rich African heritage this month and always. The ties of bond, faith, family, and community is a theme that describes African heritage in our homes and our schools and the greater community as well. Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you so much. And next we have, I believe, the principal from Middleton Regional High School, Principal Greg Bauer, present. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, I'd like to bring greetings to the Municipal County Council on behalf of the staff and students and the communities that our school serves in Middleton Regional High School. We'd like to, we appreciate the opportunity to come down here and celebrate African Heritage Month with you. This is a great venue, and many times I've taken part in Walker Classics and basketball. And there are a lot of very familiar folks here and in the community that would partake in that. I know Councilor McDonald is kind of watch as we go through today. So we allow him to be free around 3 to join us in our trek up to Canada. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And next we have Principal Jamie Pard here from the Lawrence Education Center. Oh, it's perhaps he's not present. All right. In that case, Mr. Pat Murphy, the Annapolis Valley Regional Center for Education Director of Programs and Services. Delighted to have you with us today.
Thank you so much, Gordon. Our little system here. Seems like a good idea at the time. Board council members and honored guests, it's my pleasure to be here on behalf of Dave Jones, our Regional Executive Director, who was unable to be here. And I'm here on behalf of 13,000 students, over 2,000 staff, and all of the communities that the Annapolis Valley Regional Center for Education represents. And so I thank you again. This is my second year here for this invitation, and it's great to be a part of and watch the democratic process take place here in the County of Annapolis. We have 40 schools, as I said, and 13,000 students. 3% of our students are African Nova Scotian, which is approximately 350 students. And we're very proud of our students, but we also recognize that we have an issue that we've had long-standing and we're still working on, quite frankly. And I'm not terribly proud, slightly embarrassed, quite frankly, of the fact that the achievement gap between our students of African descent and our white students is still substantial, and yet we've tried many, many things and we still haven't closed that gap. And I think it's always important to acknowledge that that exists and that we need to do more as a system. One of the things that we've done as a province is they've created a new position, Coordinator of African Canadian Education Services, that has allowed us to be more precise in our work with African Nova Scotians. And I'm very pleased that Krishinda McBride, who I believe will be bringing greetings, is in that position. Krishinda is not new to us, but she is new in that role. And we have 8 student support workers. One is with us today, Carmelita. Pleased to have you. I believe we're making gains, but we need to work better and we need to try some new things. One of the things that we're working on is a cohort at Horton High School, which I've now realized I'm sorry to say Kings County, but we'll look to do it here too. I get the county vibes and I don't blame you. And what we're going to try next year under Krishinda's leadership is we have invited, and it has been accepted at this point, our 13 African Nova Scotian students who are going to take Math 10 and English 10 as a cohort together. And for some of you that may kind of be in the front, was quite frankly for me when I first heard about it. But Krishinda very eloquently explained to me the idea of affinity group and the idea of feeling comfortable in a community of learners. And so I really am excited about this. We're going to try it, and we're very hopeful that it will provide a new way of delivering our education. The other piece I'd like to just have you think about is instead of talking about numbers, I said 3%, but is to put a face to all of our students. And so the idea is instead of talking about a group and saying we need to better serve a group, we need to better serve names and faces. People individually and say, what can we do for them? And I believe that's how we may close that gap and not talk about it in a long period of time. I don't have that many years left, quite frankly, in the career, and I'd like to see that gap closed before I'm done. So with that, I thank you for this opportunity, and I hope you have a good day.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your being here this morning. Thanks. It's always a pleasure to have Krishinda McBride, the Annapolis Valley Regional Center for Education Coordinator for RCH.
Thank you very much. And my new job change, as Patrick has said, no longer are there racial relations, cross-cultural understanding, and human rights coordinators within our province. My official title now is Coordinator of African Canadian Education Services. So thank you very much, Timothy, and thank you very much again for the invite. Good morning, everybody, and happy African Heritage Month 2020. I thank you for the invite, and I am going to read it because I typed it, so I'm going to read it. I'll talk to it after. Thank you for the invite to the historic and significant annual County of Annapolis Council meeting. The municipality's connection and acknowledgement of historical African Nova Scotian communities like Inglewood speaks to the ties that bind specifically community. The strength, character, and faith of our Annapolis Valley is very reflective in the themes and images of the sayings on the 2020 African Heritage Month poster. The ties that bind faith, family, and community. The Matthew Caucus Trail within the Annapolis Valley ties and celebrates our African Nova Scotian communities together. The trail is the first of its kind in Canada and recognizes African history and culture through a series of interpretable panels, such as the one that's attached to this building outside when you came in and saw Inglewood. That particular panel, throughout the valley, there's different little stops. One's up on top of the hill at Granville. You can go to different places and see these signs and learn about the historical African Nova Scotian community. So Inglewood, Granville, Ferry, Litchfield. I would like to highlight and acknowledge the legacy of some of our African Nova Scotian families within Annapolis County, the families of the Jacksons, the Mitchells, the Cromwells. They're all of Inglewood. Their community work and their contribution to education goes beyond speaking. Rose Fortune and Doreen Lewis, if you do not know, is from Annapolis Royal, and their legacy and work within the Nova Scotia Public Service Commission or arena is very admirable. Rose was our very first police person. And like a good black woman, she carried a stick, and if you didn't get her out of the way, well, she went ahead, right? But she kept the streets clean. She made sure everybody knew where they were supposed to be at. Sometimes people still say down in Annapolis, you hear her voice. Doreen Lewis is a relative of her, and that legacy continued on with her mayorship and also her direction of NSCC. Lastly, I would like to highlight here in Annapolis County, the good old community of Litchfield, because we know how popular it is down there. Walter Peters and the Peters family. Walter Peters is a snowbird, and he's from here in Annapolis County. One of the snowbirds is one of our very own, and one of the very few black ones. He was pilot, retired Canadian Air Force Major Walter Peters. He hails from Lynchburg. When we talk about spirit and looking at that poster, the spirit of it, well, you're sitting in the place right now. It is because of Inglewood. This is where Richard Preston and David George came and brought all the black communities together, and they established the African United Baptist Association, which is still very strong here in Nova Scotia. We have a very rich history of African Nova Scotian heritage and culture here within Annapolis County, and we have very strong ties that bring us all together. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much. And next, delighted to have Carmelita Johnson, from the student support worker for the Annapolis Valley Regional Center for Education. Glad to have you with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for the invitation. I always appreciate the opportunity to come. Still fairly new to Annapolis Center for Education, so I've been here for 4 years. So I am a Cromwell. My main name is Cromwell, so I do have connections to the Cromwells here. So one of the things I wanted to do today, which I think is really fitting to the theme of today, as well as to some of our past students, I think it's important for us to acknowledge and students who have graduated from Bridgetown, who have come from Bridgetown, and who have done some wonderful things and have left some great things behind. So one of the things I want to do today is I want to present the community center with a plaque that was done by a past student of Bridgetown Regional High School at the time, and actually presented to his father. It was Taylor that did this plaque. So we had a number of plaques that were done in 2016 when we were here at the old school. So the art teacher and I, she kind of came to me and connected about, what are some different plaques that we could do. She wanted to make sure it was representative. She had a good representative of community and culture. And so some of the students that were in her art program did some of these plaques. So one of the plaques that Taylor did was actually a plaque of Inglewood. And it has some really great pictures in here. So we have these in our school, but these are just prints that we want to be able to give. So I want to present this to Mr. Jackson, if possible, to give on behalf of the community center.
And he's on the community center.
Oh, he's on the board.
Is he on the
Yeah. It's a beautiful.
Can you have a better backdrop?
In front of the.
Oh, yeah, right over there.
Where's there?
Yeah, just go up there and.
Have the
Very nice. So this was done by Taylor.
Can you scooch over this way?
Oh, you want it in front of the
I want
poster?
there and I don't want the glare.
Okay.
Yeah, oh, just this much. There you go. Oh, that's beautiful. You might get this picture frame next year.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Perfect, thanks. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. All right, we're going to proceed now with some annual reports. Our first annual report this year is for the Annapolis Basin Conference, and I believe I see Beth Earl in the back. Hello, Beth.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for the invitation. I was really realizing when I was standing here this morning that this is my 7th year doing this, and a lot of the faces are the same. So you're probably all sitting there thinking, oh yeah, here we go again. But I always like to take the opportunity to tell you what we're up to. Many of you know that CFD Cornwall was closed 26 years ago. And so now we've been running as the Cornwall Park Development Association, operating as the Annapolis Basin Conference Center for that entire time. Some of the highlights of our year is that we did renew our contract with HMCS Acadia. So once again, we will have the cadets at ABCC. Usually that's about 800 people. 800 people there throughout the summer. And there are a fair number of children, but there's also adults who stay there all summer long. And there are our staff cadets who are between the ages of 16 and 18. And we know from all the communities in the area that they add to their lives in the summertime by participating in any of the events, whether it's their local parades, whether it's things like the sunset ceremony in Annapolis, which I know is a favorite of the local community and also the cadets. It's one of their favorite things to do. And just whether it's their parents coming and buying gas at local gas stations, going to the Beacons of the Light. So we're very excited to have that for another year. We go forward as if it's going to be there forever, and hopefully it will be. So they'll be arriving in June. Some of the other things that we do are we host weddings, events, different types of conferences. We do retreats. We work with local groups who are interested in starting something new, and we will sit down and work with them, organize it, help them out if that's what they want to do, or take on the role that they need us in helping us out. A new initiative that we have just in the last couple of months, we were approached by companies who were looking to bring in employees, and sometimes people, businesses are just not able to find enough employees locally, and they're bringing in newcomers to Canada. And so we've started providing local housing solutions for some of those companies. So we have a few people there now who are newcomers to Canada, who are just staying there until they can find other arrangements. And we're working with some other companies to provide that kind of housing. So we're really happy about that. It's good for us. In the winter time, when we have rooms that aren't being used, it's good for the local community because we have newcomers coming into our communities, and it's great for the businesses who are not able to hire people. So there's a lot of things that go on every year, and most people are aware of that. We're right next to the Funding YMCA, so I know that that's a big draw for the people who come and stay with us. And I'd like to thank the municipality for all their support of that. But what I really want to do is just take a minute, because I do know it's an election year, and I do want to sincerely thank the council, because this council has been very supportive of different initiatives that we've undertaken. Sometimes that's financial when we need some help. Sometimes it's just talking with us and supporting us with other levels of government. And sometimes it's just working on initiatives together. And so at ABCC, that's been very important to us, and we're very happy. We're very proud, for example, in 2018 to have been the site of the first rural location for the board for the FCM, for the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. And we were so excited to be able to do that. We were so thankful that you partnered with us on that, and we worked together on that. And more recently, there's been a climate change conference. So it's just been really great to work with the council. And the other thing is it's really nice to see some initiatives that are perhaps, I think it takes a certain amount of courage to do things, like be the first council that's going to say, okay, we're going to do something about internet. Or, some of the things that I have seen this council do. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you. Okay? Thank you.
Could I have a motion to receive the report? Moved by Councillor McNeil, seconded by the Deputy Warden. Discussion on the report or questions? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Thanks so much. Is Danny Finney present?
No, sir.
Oh, no.
Would you like to hear or over?
Wherever you're coming from. I think if you'd like to be on the camera, the best spot would be up at the front corner.
As you may or may not know, thank you very much for inviting me for here, sir. I'm not Danny Finney. I am Kerwin Malone. Volunteered to be here for the day. 2019, yet again, was another very successful year for Annapolis County 4-H. This past year, Annapolis County had 5 clubs. Sun Valley Riders in the Annapolis Royal Round Hill area, Clarence Club in the Clarence Lawrencetown area, Mountain Ridge located in the Spa Springs Middleton area, the Lucky Stars 4-H Club in Melbourne Square, and the Mystic Trails Club in the Middleton Nicola area. This year we saw an involvement of right around 100 4-H members, ages 9 to 21, plus additional 20 Clover Buds, which are ages 7 to 8, so we're starting to get them going. We have right around 22 to 25 volunteer members. Heart of Valley program. Once again, Annapolis hosted a very successful Fluff and Buff. It is a program happening during the long weekend in May at the exhibition grounds. At this event, members learn about livestock fitting and showmanship and judging of 5 different livestock: beef, dairy, sheep, rabbits, and goats. And they come from all over the western Nova Scotia to attend that. Club Achievement Days were wrapped up during the month of July, after which many members chose to participate in the 4-H portion of the Napa Valley exhibition, which you're all invited to on Sunday and Monday of the exhibition. Thanks, Gidget. And as well, the county did very well at the Nova Scotia 4-H Provincial Show, which was held in Truro, with a number of provincial winners, and as well, 2 members from the county attended the Royal Winter Fair in Toronto with their cows this fall. 4-H had a very successful turkey dinner in November. We held it at the Lawrencetown Fire Hall, which was 4-H month. And we're planning to do another one. It's a fundraiser to keep our coppers up, April 19th. So, Mr. McNeil, we're going to have another auction. It's a dessert auction. So it's not to have you or any other attending councilors like to show up.
You can't tell my wife anything about it, okay?
Tell your uncle I'm quiet. You can show up and spend $50 on all our cakes, but we do a fancy dessert auction. I am the big mouth today. I have a lot of fun auctioneering. But so we're going to have it's a ham and scallop potato supper. We're planning for the 19th of April in Lawrencetown, Sunday evening. And there will be a dessert auction after that. 4-H is all about giving back to and support the local communities, and this is evident in the community contributions that are done by our 4-H members in 2019. We participated in a few beach weeks, Marksville and Port George area. Most of our clubs participate in the Canada Day celebration summers. I know ours is in Melbourne Square, and you'll see us laying wreaths in remembrance on Remembrance Day. Annapolis County 4-H families are lucky to call this beautiful place their home, and they look forward to many more years of a healthy and successful 4-H program in Annapolis County. Thank you very much for all your support throughout the years. Respectively submitted, Danny Finney, Colonel Miller.
Thank you so much. Ask for a motion to receive the report, moved by Councillor Gunn and seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. Any discussion or questions about the report? Deputy Warden.
I just want to commend the 4-H leaders and the council for being mentors in our youth's lives through their life, and it is an outstanding group, and very proud to have the groups that we have in Annapolis County.
Thank you very much. Further discussion, Councillor McNeil.
What time?
It will be summertime.
No, time starts on.
5 o'clock, I believe. Okay.
All right.
We'll certainly let everybody know when we got the signs up.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. The name of your organization is taken in vain around county council on a regular basis.
Probably
because we go through lists. We have so many volunteer organizations that are just absolutely critical to the life of our community, and particularly organizations like your own, which invest so heavily in the experiences that our young people get to have available to them. But one of our priorities as a municipality is to preserve and pass along some of the basic life skills that are essential for this area. You're right in the pocket of doing that. We very much appreciate everything that 4-H does for our young people.
You probably add, sir, just when you say that, it's very well known that if a 4-H member puts their involvement on their resumes, pretty much higher, because they know how to speak, they know how to conduct themselves. They're very, proper young people in our community, so they're hired very quickly. So it is a testament to our 4-H program.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you very much. Next, we have the Annapolis County Federation of Agriculture report. Do we have somebody here to speak to the report? Perhaps not. Council, you've had an opportunity to read the report. Could I have a motion to receive the report? Moved by Councillor McDonald and seconded by Councillor Fowler. Any discussion or questions about the report? Councillor Henry.
Oh, I was hoping there would be someone here to talk about it, and because it's real interesting. Over the last, I suppose, 10 years, agriculture has changed in its role in the community, and as the report states, the idea of some of the storms that we've been having, the climate change problems that are starting to arrive, agriculture has now become the center of the community rather than something out on the periphery. And so I applaud the work that agriculture has done in terms of food security and the responsibility is going to be further placed on the shoulders of farmers to provide food security for Annapolis County. So it's a real challenge ahead, and I'm glad that they're doing it, and I'm glad they acknowledge the climate change summit that we had, and we will continue to work with agriculture as we go forward. I want to thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hemming. Further discussion or comments? All in favor of the motions? Oh, Councillor Price.
I'm just going to add to what Councillor Hemming has said. Certainly, agriculture is the linchpin of Annapolis County, especially in District 1. When I think of the different farmers and producers of various products that are within that area, and your thoughts on climate change tie in so much with what's going on, the harvest we've had in the last, or they've had in the last few years. So it's a big part of this county, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Anything further? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Thanks very much. Next, Annapolis County Ground Search and Rescue. We're down here, but you've had an opportunity to read through the report. Could I have a motion to receive the report? Moved by Councillor McNeil, seconded by the Deputy Warden. Discussion on the report. The picture that's painted in the report of the efforts of Annapolis County Ground Search and Rescue to remain a viable service, of course, is a bit of a dire one. Yes. And we recognize how absolutely essential this particular service is. But they're sort of caught, I think, between they're caught between a couple of different forces that haven't really aligned themselves to give them the sort of support that they've needed to have. Council has directed our CAO to speak with the folks at Ground Search and Rescue to try to determine what we can do to assist them more completely. Certainly, with something this essential, we don't want them to disappear. So I think it's important we find ways to provide them with that support. Councillor Gunn.
Thank you. You know, we've talked about this for years at the Ground Search and Rescue, how we need to support them in Annapolis County. Other municipalities give them a line in their budget of $5,000 a year and generally find them a place to hang their hat that they can work with. And I suggest that, that's one of the things Annapolis County must do.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gunn. Further discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Thanks very much. Next, the Annapolis Royal Historic Gardens.
Good morning. And thank you for the opportunity. It's always a pleasure to come to Inglewood and have a chance to speak directly to council and express our appreciation for the support the council has given us over the years, both financially and as including us in your events calendars and those things and the overall support. An organization like ours requires a lot of community support and municipal support, and we're very pleased that we have both. Our municipalities are very supportive, which helps us when we go seeking support at other levels of government for projects and things like that. But the community support has been incredible over the years, and we are entering our 39th year of operations in Annapolis Royal, and very proud of what we've been able to achieve, but it is all at the basis as a result of all of the support that we get. And I'm going to turn it over to Trish because she's the one who knows everything about what we do. keeps us going.
I've only been working there for 38 out of 39. I'm one of the youngsters on staff, but so thank you again, as you said, for the support. It means a lot when we go to other levels of government to be able to say that Annapolis County supports us, as does the town, and the county of Digby provides some support, and then province as well. You've read the report. I'm not going to reread it to you, but I will add just a couple of extra things or additional information. Stats for the year. Often people ask, what were your numbers like? And the numbers were down this year, and I think everybody that I've talked to pretty much, there are some exceptions, but pretty much we're down. The closer you get to Yarmouth, the worse the numbers were. The ferry, there's no question, there's in effect rather low whether the ferry is running or not. In spite of that, we were doing okay up to the end of August. July and August, we were only down to 3%, and then Dorian came down and just blew a hole, literally, in the season. And the season never recovered. So our September and October numbers were down 27%. People fled, understandably, and people canceled their trips coming to Nova Scotia for the rest of the season. It was not good. Aside from the fact that Dorian blew a bit of a hole in the gardens too. So, and our staff and volunteers rose to the occasion. It took best part of the week to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. But we are pleased that we didn't have any major damage to buildings and major damage to our large old trees. It was all, it was a mess, but it was a fixable mess. So, a few fun facts, again, for people who aren't familiar with the garden so much. It's that little place you drive by in St. George Street, but it really isn't little. 17 acres, 7 buildings, more than 1,500 varieties of plants that we grow within the gardens. We're a fairly major employer for our area, 25 to 30 seasonal staff, including 8 to 12 summer student jobs every year. And in fact, 2 past students are sitting back there next to Sue Ann, who work at gardens as part of their summer work experiences in the last couple of years. So we're really pleased to be able to do that. We employ primarily students, funnily enough, from Annapolis and Bridgetown. We have quite a number of Bridgetown students over the last 15 years who've gone through with us as well. So we're pleased about that. About 30,000 visitors annually. We include the winter market. And on that point, since agriculture is being discussed and access to local produce and so on, the Winter Farmers Market we've hosted now for just over 10 years. And it has grown that, in the little town of Annapolis Royal, you can go find a farmer's market every single Saturday all year long. That's amazing in and of itself. We have about 9,000 people go through our gates on Saturday mornings for the winter market. So we're really pleased to help provide that access to the primary producers and growers, because it's really important, and going forward it gets even more important. So we're pleased with that. We've done some new experiences at the gardens this year, and we're continuing to build that, because that's what the future, present, and future is all about, is more experiences, more activities, more unique things. This year we really concentrated on making more out of our 1671 Acadian Cottage, things we could do there. So we had students, for a good part of the summer, were firing up the bake oven, the clay bake oven, baking biscuits and bread over there and serving it to visitors as they went through each day for about 4 weeks. I think we managed to pull that off. That was very much appreciated. And then in early September, we had an evening event, wine and food, because that always works, called Flavors of Acadie, where we also had Alan Melanson come on site, and we provided a tour, history, actual food items of Acadian nature and wine, because wine works. And that went really well. I keep saying wine works, but it really does. That went really well as well. So we will be repeating those efforts this summer, as well as adding some new and exciting programming. So the last thing I wanted to mention, I usually try to come with an award or a book or something. I just couldn't think of anything, and finally it hit me. We actually were published again this year. There was a book published, an illustrated book on historic and heritage garden design worldwide. And we were featured in it with particularly our Victorian garden. And if we were one of, as I looked through the back of it, literally handful of gardens in North America that were actually used in this book. Just because of the uniqueness of what we have, that's what puts us out there. So, another little thing. So anyway, that's, unless people have questions, that's kind of a quick version of what we're up to last year.
You've missed my favorite event. That's the Halloween haunted garden that gives our young people an opportunity to dress up in costumes and terrify unsuspecting grown-ups, and it's a great event. I know, so did the kids.
Yes.
Terrific. We have a motion to receive the report, please. Moved by Councillor LeBlanc and seconded by Councillor McNeil. Any discussion or questions on the report?
Keep doing what you're doing.
Keep doing what you're doing, that's right. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you very much. All right. Next, the Annapolis Detachment RCMP.
Today, I would like to extend greetings on behalf of our commanding officer, Commissioner Lee Bergman, along with our district liaison officer, Julie Moss. And please accept my regrets that Staff Sergeant Hubbard, who was recovered during the illness, couldn't make it today. So I'm Sergeant Green. Jamie will to replace him for this event. I'm grateful that the Inglewood community has their kind hospitality again in honoring us and enjoying their celebration of African Heritage Month, which provides us an opportunity to reflect on the highlights of the African Nova Scotians' deep culture and achievements and contributions to our shared history. I, along with the staff of the Annapolis District RCMP, are grateful to the board and council and staff for working with us for our efforts to contribute to a safe and secure community. In 2019, the RCMP provincial and district priorities were road safety, crime reduction, and cybercrime. Road safety effectiveness increased through additional training, additional visibility, checkpoints, traffic enforcement, and education. And as we noted, there was 35% reduction in speeding reports and a 16% drop in reported collisions from a year ago. This one is dear to my heart, is crime reduction. It's an initiative that saw a focus on prolific offender management. It's a program that we have and try to encourage the courts and stuff is to release people on CSOs or very strict conditions within the community. They have curfew times. It also gives us authority to go knock on your door anytime during when you're supposed to be home. And it works fairly well. It also reduces crime in your community. For instance, we had, I'll give you a quick example. I know I'm living with my time here. Is last weekend, we had 5 break-and-enters in the east end of the county. And 3 of the people there are prolific offenders. 2 of them were on conditions. One guy was only on conditions 5 days earlier. They were arrested, and unfortunately, the court released 2, but the other guy who was on the conditional sentence, he was held, and I believe he's going for a bail hearing today. And that's, again, totally up to the court systems. But this is their crime reduction initiative. This is my 3rd detachment, or 3rd district in the province I've been in, and it works very well. And our members buy into it when the scene starts seeing files reducing. Cybercrime, it's something that's here to stay. It's not going to go away. In 2009, we had 42 occurrences. They're from identity theft, romance schemes, purchasing scams, Revenue Canada. A lot of them are they're asking people to go buy, especially some of our seniors, to go buy iTunes cards. And right now, our school safety resource officer, I think she has 2 dates set aside, so we're now figuring we're going to start trying to educate some of the parents too on some of these cybercrime, and it's coming out in the schools, I think this month. In Annapolis District, we're fortunate to have the means to address our priorities using street crime. Our street crime has been very effective this year. They have targeted a number of people that in our community for meth or methamphetamines or the street name ICE. We had a lot of success with it. With some of the investigations, they actually had 65 investigations. And they've obtained child pornography, they've solved some break-and-enters, and recovered quite a few stolen firearms. I'll go on and give you some stats on our road safety. We had 473 provincial summary offense tickets, 504 warrants, 170 checkpoints. We had 12 impaired drivers and 5 roadside suspensions. And further that, Southwest Nova Traffic Services they've been actively into the community. They have 650 traffic stops, 506 traffic warnings issued in the county. Our resources, we're holding our own pretty good. We are having significant turnover in staff this year. We have 4 people going out the door, but we have replacements. Fortunately, we already had 2 replacements come in. We managed to hang on to 2 of them as extra resources over the last 6-7 months. We do have 2 members leaving, and there was two people identified to come in for the replacement. We have 22 members still on staff, 2 members on maternity leave, 1 to return shortly. We had 3 new detachment assistants in 2019. We had retirement of Arlene Mann this year. She actually came back and did some training for us. One of the ladies, she was a detachment assistant in DC. She's now relocated to the Valley in Annapolis County. Her husband bought a house here due to the low prices of housing compared to BC. And she tells me that her parents are moving here shortly. They're looking to buy a place. So we may have an influx of people coming from BC. It's good to hear that. The 2 other ladies that we hired, one for Middleton and one for Bridgetown, they're both local people. And it was one of the things that we stressed in their advertising, because that terrible Kings County where I used to work at keeps on stealing ideas. Our community liaison officer, it's still, we still have her in place, and we have the support of the district policing officer, and hopefully we can keep it. We have a community policing officer, Adam Burns. I'm pretty sure all the schools are quite aware of that. And we have Cheryl Coney, she's also the school resource officer. And everyone is Sharon. Everyone knows Sharon, and I think she's a big part of the county. I tell you, she takes a load off us when we're dealing with seniors. And sometimes she even goes a little bit beyond and dealing with some people with mental health issues, and which is, we're very grateful, because it sometimes takes a little bit of, or a lot of pressure off us. Vehicles, we have 7 marked police vehicles, 4 unmarked, 2 ATVs, and 2 bicycles. Last year we had 93 prisoners, and we have guards employed there. You know, we have cells in Bridgetown the last couple of years, so we only transported 7 to Kingston over 3 cells. We had 1,342 criminal records checks completed for the citizens of Annapolis County. Our school programs, again, is our school safety resource officer, community program officer, senior safety. They are community leaders within our community, and they are very well recognized in the schools and various events in the community. In closing, I'd like to thank from the Annapolis District RCMP team. We care deeply about our communities, and we love serving our public. And we always welcome any feedback, negative or positive, and we really appreciate it. So if we know we can do something better, we always try. Or you can communicate it through your police advisory board.
Thank you very much. We have a motion, and we'll do in just a moment. The motion to receive the report first, moved by Councillor Sheridan and seconded by the Deputy Warden. Discussion, Councillor Gunn.
Thank you. In the first part of your report there, you said you were going on about a couple of people were, the gist of it, a couple of people were doing break-ins. Yes. They were caught and they were released. I have a problem with this because I had the same thing happen in my district last year. We had a couple of lads that weren't acting properly in the neighborhood, did a bunch of break-ins, and they were all over the place. And you guys kept doing your job, and I thank you so much. But the courts kept letting them go. So you guys would catch them, hold them, put them through the courts, they would give them something, and then they'd be back home. And this went on for months, and this kid kept running around and breaking in. And the same thing happens again. How and who do we have to get a hold of as a council to put pressure on the courts to be doing their job?
That's a good question. You could speak to your local MLA or convey your message up the line to the.
Well, I'm hoping that you'll convey it along.
There's one thing that if I see something, I'm the operations NCO for the district. And if something comes in, if charges are being dismissed or there's certain things being dismissed, I fill a report up and send it into our criminal operations center in Halifax or Dartmouth now. And if they see a trend, they bring it to the attention of the Department of Justice, the deputy minister, because they do have regular meetings. After that, that's what all the involvement I can handle on that. But we do try.
Sir, go ahead, Councilor.
So we can just put pressure on our local MLA. That's the idea, to get the Department of Justice to do their job.
And
federal counterpart. Okay, fair enough.
Councilor
McNeil.
Thank you.
Jamie, I just read something the other day, actually, that the Supreme Court of Canada has come out and said that the majority of judges have been too lenient with their sentencing. So I was reading it and I was grinning like catching or what, and I was thinking, it's about time. As you know as well, right?
It's in the same article.
Yeah. I mean, a judge will make case law, so he gets his name in the criminal code. And to what Michael was talking about there, then some other judge will come along and try to do something better, but then it's always brought up, well, this is case law. So, but anyway, glad to see the Supreme Court come out and say the provincial court judges are being too lenient. To me, that was a thumbs up.
Councilor LeBlanc.
Well, I'd like to thank you and all the people that work with you and around you and the ones you bring in to help our community at the same time. And thank you for your dedication and thank you for being here today and letting us know certain things that are being done. And we see you hard at work. There's always something coming up. It doesn't matter where it is. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so now we question. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you. Now we're at noon, but I believe we have 6 more reports to approve, but I believe there's only 3 to be presented. So perhaps we'll simply continue until we conclude before we break for lunch.
Sure.
Very good. That's agreed. All right. Next is the Annapolis Valley Exhibition.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where we are by 12 o'clock. My name is Gidget Oxter. I'm the general manager for the Annapolis Valley Exhibition. Thank you for the invitation to speak today. I'm not going to bore everyone by reading our rather lengthy 5-page report. Council has it to read, but I would like to highlight a few things over our past year. We underwent great change last year, which is sometimes difficult for people to endure. We have a fabulous volunteer base of approximately 240 people. Many of our committees have been working in silos over the years. I've worked very hard, and it's very important to our board that we bring all those committees together. They're very engaged now. They're part of our decision making. We celebrated last fall by having a corn boil, which was attended by most, because our volunteers are so important to us. We've also been developing better relationships with the Federation of Agriculture for Annapolis County, 4-H, who's a very important aspect of our organization. We have Clean Annapolis River coming in the spring to help us tidy up our beautiful Riverside stage area. And, well, so we're partnering with the county for the Winter Rec program. I hope everybody comes out this Friday. We have snow. I hope it stays for a wonderful evening on the hill. And again, it's very important to us to be building community partnerships. because the community is what makes us successful. 2019, we actually ended up in the black, going the second time in the last 8 years. So we're moving in the right direction, and I'm very proud to be part of this organization. Thank you.
Thanks so much. I ask for a motion to receive the report, Deputy Warden, and seconded by Councillor McNeil. Any questions for our presenter?
What was that date? Friday?
Friday the 21st.
Or Friday
Is
the
it sledding?
21st. It's sledding, is it? Well, you never know.
Well, it depends on how much snow we get.
All right. If there's nothing further, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you very much. Next, we have Henry Matthew from the Annapolis Valley Regional Library. Delighted to have you with us today.
Thank you. I'm here with my colleague Tim Jackson, and we come bearing gifts. So Gordon Habinsky and councillors, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today about one of my favorite topics, the Annapolis Valley Regional Library. You have a copy of our current annual report. So, in a nutshell, I'm pleased to report that our libraries are busier than ever, with more patrons visiting our libraries and enjoying our services. We offered more programs and had higher attendance. Computer use is through the roof. By any measure, AVRL continues to be a valued service to the residents of the Valley. So what I'd like to do is highlight some of the things that are not in the report and sort of new for this year. And we'll focus on technology and how AVRL plans to enhance technology services. So, as you know, we have an innovation lab in the Wolfville Memorial Library, and it's been a very busy place. They've received $4,400 in funding for equipment from at Nova Scotia and a donation of $6,700 from a library supporter for the purchase of some new and innovative equipment for the Wolfville lab. The purchasing of equipment for the AVRL's portable maker lab is underway. So we got a grant of $12,000 in funding from at Nova Scotia, and this will be used to purchase equipment for use in all of our locations for programming and workshops, traveling from branch to branch. So this is really exciting because, for example, imagine, if you will, the Portable Maker Lab set up in the Bridgetown Library and for an entire month or 6 weeks, and all the programming that we can do. So we're super excited about that. Annapolis Royal's first Girls Who Code program wrapped up this month, and the project was well attended and enjoyed by all the young ladies that participated. The Annapolis Royal Library's Innovation Lab received funding from at Nova Scotia to run a Women Who Mean Business set of 3 workshops. This funding was applied for, and the program was developed and delivered by one of the Innovation Lab members. It was such a success that the participants have agreed to continue meeting on their own. On February 4th, the Minister Leo Glavine of Communities, Culture and Heritage made a funding announcement in our Berwick Library. He announced $50,000 for at Nova Scotia to deliver an Empowering Seniors Through Technology program province-wide. The funding is through the Shift Nova Scotia's Action Plan for an Aging Population. So this is the 3rd year of funding and allows for the hiring of trainers for approximately 3 months to deliver this program. AVRL is fortunate to have one of these trainers delivering one-on-one tech help to seniors, and many of our libraries have waiting lists of people wishing to take advantage of this program. So I think it's worth sharing Minister Glavine's remarks about this important service when he stated, as we all know, digital literacy is essential in our world today. We also know that some people, like older adult learners and others, find our new digital world challenging. By training seniors to better use technology, we are helping them keep connected with friends, families, and community online. We are also enabling them to feel confident about digital purchases and comfortable with a vital technology. This program will help older seniors stay in their own homes longer and be more independent. So those were Minister Glavine's remarks, and in light of what the RCMP officer said about some of the cyber crimes going on, it's really, really important that we provide services to that age group. We have so many partnerships that I would need about an hour to list them all, so I will spare you that. But I did want to share a few that will be of interest. So AVRL has a partnership with the Clean Annapolis River Project, CARP, to circulate renewable energy kits for educators, teachers to use in a classroom setting. So the teachers will be able to place holds in our catalog, and AVRL will deliver these classroom kits to their chosen pickup branch. These kits developed by CARP contain 5 renewable energy kits, 1 renewable energy monitor, and 1 electric mobility car. The Annapolis Royal Library is partnering with the Annapolis Royal France Twinning Committee by housing a collection of materials on Pierre Dugois de Mont, born in Royan. He's the founder of Port Royal and co-founder of Quebec City. And, just in case you're interested, the president of the Annapolis Royal Twinning Committee, Christine Bigot, will be giving a talk on the life and times of Pierre Dugois in the meeting room at the Community Hall on Saturday, February 22nd at 10 p.m. And so I'll be there, so I'll be looking forward to seeing all of you there as well.
10 p.m. or 10 a.m.?
I'm sorry, 10 a.m. Pierre Dugois has often been overshadowed by Champlain, but remains an important historical figure, particularly as it relates to Nova Scotia and Port Royal. Fun fact, libraries are not just about books anymore. And here's a first in Nova Scotia. At 3 of our locations, we loan bicycles. We call them our book bikes. And they have cutesy little names like J.K. Rowling and anyway. And these have been running now for a year, and Annapolis Royal is one of the locations. And it's been wonderful partnership with our recreation departments because it allows people to explore the rail trail, which is very, very cool. And it's the first in Nova Scotia, and I believe it's actually the first in Canada, loaning out bicycles.
That's true.
And so, not to out to Halifax, but we like to have bragging rights every once in a while. Halifax is actually considering starting a bike loaning program at one of their libraries. So they've been calling us for advice, which makes me feel good. And just to take it a little bit further than that, we recently received a grant to expand our fleet of book bikes to include e-bikes. And so that's a grant that we worked with Wolfville for. So that will be coming this summer in Wolfville. If I had all the money that I needed in the world and my druthers, I would expand this program to all of our locations because it's so important for people to get out and have exercise, and it's a wonderful thing. A couple of our locations have partnered with the local recreation department, and we have rec passes available to borrow. So you can test drive the gym fitness facility if you want. I was telling Timothy earlier that it's coming, August is my 5th anniversary with the library system. I can't believe it's been that long. However, during that time, AVRL has renovated, expanded, or purpose-built 6 new library facilities, including Annapolis Royal in Bridgetown. So that's 6 out of 11, and we're not done. Construction on an expanded Kingston Library is set to begin any day now, and we are in serious discussions with Wolfville about a library project for them. And then I guess when that's done, then I guess we get to start all over again. Another fun fact, almost $3 million has been raised locally through successful grant applications and the largesse and generosity of the community for these 7 projects, like $3 million. And what that tells me is that our libraries, your libraries, are very, very important to their community. Finally, I would like to thank Council for their continued support of our library system and for giving the board such a passionate library supporter as your representative, Alec Morrison. He's not even listening to me.
That would be the first.
Thank you very much, and I will address any questions.
Could I ask for a motion to receive the report? Moved by Councillor LeBlanc and seconded by Councillor Fowler. Discussion on the report or any questions?
That's always a good sign.
That's a good sign. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we've got a report from the Southwest Nova Transition House Association, or Juniper House. I don't believe there's a representative to speak to this present. I'll request a motion to receive the report, moved by Councillor Fowler and seconded by Councillor Prout. Discussion on the report. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Next, Special Olympics, Annapolis County. Do we have someone to speak to the Special Olympics? If not, in that case, I'll ask for a motion to receive that report, moved by the Deputy Warden and seconded by Councillor Sherry. Discussion on the report. Councillor Morrison.
Thank you. For a couple of years, we made a plea that surely there must be places in Annapolis County where these activities can be held. And I would recommend that we keep up those efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Morrison. For the discussion comments, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you very much. And finally, Trans-County Transportation Society. Is someone to speak to this report today?
The chair is supposed to be there.
All right.
They have a terrific board member.
Yeah,
That's
true. Could I ask for a motion to receive the report? Moved by Councillor McDonald and seconded by Councillor McNeil. Any discussion on the report, please? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you very much. And that brings us to the end of our agenda.
The Victorian Order.
So, I don't believe that we actually received a report from them. That's right. So, in that case, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to declare our meeting adjourned. One of the great pleasures of coming out to Inglewood on an annual basis is it gives us an excuse to visit with Hazel Johnson, who's one of our community treasures. And I wonder if I could prevail upon Hazel to say grace for us for lunch. Would that be all right? Thank you.
They were all able to come today. My goodness, I could come up with something to my car down there. I said, can't be all that in there. And now let's say, dear Heavenly Father, we just ask you to bless the food that we prepared for them. Come to today and we will enjoy. And we give you all the praise in Jesus' precious holy name. Especially the way that's here. And safe journey home. Amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you very much, folks. It smells fantastic.